Our next guest is the founder and executive director of LitWorld. The mission of LitWorld is to spread literacy throughout the world from New York to Africa. Pam's organization has already changed the lives of thousands of children, and today she's here to talk about some of LitWorld's newest initiatives as well as some programs. And we welcome now to the show the executive director, Pam Allyn, and we welcome you to open.
Thanks so much for having me.
Good to have you. When you talk about literacy, obviously major issue across the United States. You have the opportunity not just to take it from a local base, but you're speaking it from a local base to an international base. Share with us a little bit about LitWorld.
Well, LitWorld, I am a longtime literacy advocate, activist, educator, and I do believe that literacy is the key element to human rights, especially for children. It's people who can read and write are healthier, more likely to get work, more likely to have relationships that last throughout their lifetimes, and all of that just really does connect back to, are you a reader? Are you someone who believes that words can change you in some way? And especially now in the 21st century with the internet, I think there's never been a more important time to be literate. But when I travel around this country and when I travel around the world, I still see so many children who are struggling as readers, not being provided access to books in their homes or in their schools, not provided access to technology which will give them closeness to words and to text, stories, poems, information. So there's really, it's a big issue and it's a human rights issue. And I really think the people who suffer the most from illiteracy are children, so they're not the first to be advocating for themselves. So LitWorld's job is really to be the voice for children as readers.
Mm-hmm. Share with us a little bit about how you extend across the borders, because that's very important as well.
Yeah, well, that's a huge part of what LitWorld is doing, which is to say that I believe that the power of story is that you can connect to people around the world and to have people come out of isolation and into a big sort of global community because we can communicate with each other through stories. LitWorld has one of our biggest programs is our Lit Clubs, but literacy clubs for boys and girls around the world that are connecting via the internet, via blogging, via tweeting, via Facebook, sharing stories that we're writing, sharing stories that they're reading. And in this way, children who might have otherwise felt very isolated are coming together in a global way.
This number is outstanding to me. It says worldwide at least 774 million people are illiterate.
Mm-hmm. At least. That's
774 million.
At least. That's probably a very conservative estimate because we're also counting people who are what is called functionally literate, which means you can, maybe you can read something very simply. But even that, I think, really is a barrier for people who are not comfortable readers, who feel like maybe reading doesn't feel so good. It means you're a little less likely to get on an unfamiliar subway. You're a little less likely to maybe get your prescription refilled. You're a little less likely to say, I want to learn something new, so I'm going to log on or I'm going to go to the library. And so all these ways, being not fully functionally or even transformationally literate keeps us from achieving and from going to where we want to go.
I guess consequently, you have a marginalized life by being illiterate.
It's much more marginalized than you might even realize in terms of the work that I've done over these years with children. When they talk to me about feeling like they can't read or talk to me about feeling like they can't write, and adults too, they'll say the world feels blurry. You feel like you're a little off balance all the time. And I really want all children to feel like they're on the equal playing field.
Got some new initiatives coming up. Share with us a little bit about that.
Well, we have two going on this summer. One is we're doing our fifth trip to Kenya. We have a school that we work with there called the Red Rose Primary School, and it's a wonderful school. It's in an area called Kibera, which is about the size of Central Park and has over 250,000 HIV/AIDS orphans living within that area. And this school is doing transformational work around literacy, and we support the school. And we go there and do teacher trainings. We start lit clubs there, book clubs for boys and girls as readers. And we're going to be visiting back in July 8th we're leaving. We're doing a book drive right now on our LitWorld website. If people are interested, they can come on, log on, and help us with the books that we've selected to bring. And then we've got a program right up in Harlem. We've got a story camp going. It's our first one. It's our inaugural camp. We're hoping we'll be able to expand. So next summer we've got many more of them going around the city. And basically, again, it's really to infuse children with the idea that reading can be powerful. It builds empathy, it builds understanding, and that it's something that children, we hope, find comfort in, rather than feel anxious and panicked every time a teacher asks them to read something.
How can the public engage in these in story camp and things like that in your new initiatives?
We love everyone to be involved. So we welcome everyone in the Bronx to get involved. We're looking actually this fall, we're going to start an initiative, a junior ambassador program in the Bronx where young people can help us to mobilize for LitWorld, for the cause, in two ways. One, in terms of advocacy. We have World Read Aloud Day coming up on March 9th this year, and we are asking for young people to join us in that effort to spread the word so we get millions of people involved on World Read Aloud Day, and also for fundraising to help us raise the funds that we need to train teachers and to bring books where they're needed and to bring computers where they're needed, and to make sure that we can open and expand our Lit Club mission.
So when you want to find out more information about LitWorld and want to let you know how to get in touch with LitWorld, Pam's going to tell us right now. And how do you do that?
Well, the best way is litworld.org, or we also have a Facebook page. We love our Facebook page. In fact, next week I'm doing an open teach-in for anyone who's interested, parents, children, teachers, on my Facebook page through Ustream. I'm not exactly sure what day it is, but we can check on the LitWorld site or go to the Facebook page, and anybody who wants to can join in. I'm going to answer questions on what you can do to get your kid reading more at home or in school.
What can we do right now? This is a short-term answer. Might have some parents, watching right now and saying, listen, it's the summer's here, child is out from school. What can we do to get our kids more engaged in the area of literacy? Well,
you know what? Number one is that we are our kids' best role models. So not to say when I'm not going to let you do your video game unless you read a book implies that there's something kind of punitive about reading a book. We have to show that we care about reading. And even if as adults, people listening might feel like, well, I'm not so much of a reader myself, just to take the plunge and visit the library with your child. It doesn't have to be a fancy book, a long book. Let it be a book about something you're both interested in. If you like sports or you like animals or you like games, find a book about that. And let there be a time each day. Maybe it's right when you're making dinner, or maybe it's right when you get home from work. Maybe it's at 6:30 a.m. before everyone's rushing off to camp and all different things. To sit down together on the couch, sit outside on the stoop, wherever you are, and just have 10 minutes that you're reading with your child. And let the child turn the pages. You can talk about the pictures. Also, not to judge your child as a reader, not to say that's too easy, that book, or to say you've already read that book. I just came out with a new book myself called Best Books for Boys. We notice, especially in the U.S., there's a big issue that boys are not thriving in school. They're dropping out of school at much higher rates than girls are. It's a real crisis in our country. And in some ways, I think men need to really present themselves as readers to boys so that boys can see that men do read, and also as women to say that we're going to embrace boys' interests and passions, and that reading doesn't always have to be about chapter books about girls, but there's lots of things to read about. So I think the main message is that we have to model how passionate reading really feels for us, and that reading is a very varied thing now, that reading Facebook is a way of reading, and reading a comic or a graphic novel is another way of reading, and that all of those ways of reading are valuable.
So we encourage you to find out more about LitWorld. You saw the information at the bottom of the screen. We encourage you to take advantage of some of the opportunities that you can to help in the area of literacy. An amazing statistic, 774 million people, and that's just a lowball number, are estimated to be illiterate across the world right now, 774. Well, thank you for the great work that you're doing, Pam.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully people will find out more about LitWorld and take part in these camps and help with literacy.
I hope so.
All righty, Pam, thank you so much. And best way, I can't do this. Let me do this. You got the book out. Where did they get the book?
Well, it's called Pam Allyn's Best Books for Boys. It's published by Scholastic, and it's in lots of places, Amazon, independent bookstores, Barnes & Noble, online at litworld.org. You can find it there too.
Got to make sure we got that in. Thanks a lot.